Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Antony Carpen here in Cambridge, and I'm just around the corner from the railway station with a series of new build housing just by the railway station. Now, when I started my civil service career back in 2004, all of this used to be a car park. And what's happened since then is they've built new homes and new flats for people, looking at some of the people going past. You've got really a good mix of people who seem to have moved into the area. Comparing the homes that we have here to the older ones in the area, the thing that really stands out, obviously apart from the very ultra-modern architecture, is size and scale. Now, what I mean by that is you look at many of the homes, shall we say, on the Rock Estate, and they are 2-3 stories high at most, whereas many of the homes around here, and if I just circulate the camera for you, you can see that 3, 4, 5 stories is the norm. And obviously one of the reasons for that is the state of the housing market here in Cambridge, and obviously the need for a lot of people who in particular work in the essential industries and also the public services to need to find somewhere to live. The other thing that we've got a lot of here inevitably is London overspill, and those are in particular, and I was one of them, people who who live here but work in London. Because it's so close to the railway station, it's a convenient place to live, given how sky high the rents are in London, even compared to somewhere like this. Having recently looked at some of the house prices here in Cambridge in today's newspaper, they're matching London's. Some of them, a terraced house on Rock Road will set you back a cool £1.1 million, and that's just the asking price. Duncan Stott, who's one of the housing campaigners who works in London but lives up here, challenged me to find a housing estate in Cambridge, in particular a new build one, where I found the designs particularly good. And one of the ones that has actually won awards is actually just around the corner from here. It's the Accordia estate. And I remember at the time when it was first constructed, it was constructed on former government offices. And I remember about 10 years ago just being disturbed by the huge amount of building works, but also being struck by the scale of the designs. But it turns out that certainly as far as the people who live there and the architects who designed it, it's been very, very well received. And interestingly, because of the design itself, because it was seen to be quite innovative at the time, it got protected status. And so I've seen at past local council meetings where some homeowners have tried to make additions to those developments. They've been ordered by the council under threat of court order to actually remove those additions, because those additions generally have been done very, very badly and without the relevant planning permission to authorise them. So, but I think the one thing that strikes me, and I remember having a conversation with Emma Fletcher of Smithson Hill about community involvement in housing design here in Cambridge. And one of the things I'm interested to hear from, in particular from those of you who live in and around Cambridge, is if you've got any examples of where communities have been involved in the design process of new housing estates, so I can have a wander around and just show you what the community and developers working together have come up with. One of the other things that I've also noticed just around the corner from here is a small community room called the Signal Box, which presumably was part of the agreement with the developers to provide some community facilities here. You can probably hear the sound of water behind me in the background, and that's because just over there is a fountain, which for me actually in the grand scheme of things is quite a nice little feature to have. Again, I guess my criticism of where it currently is it's something that's very much off the beaten track, and as you can see at the moment, there's nobody around here really to enjoy it. I think in part, as with the Signal Box development itself, nobody knows it's here because it's only just been built, and for whatever reason they don't actually advertise the fact. From my perspective, actually, in an ideal world, you would have a very nice cafe spilling out onto this area, and rather than having everything tarmacked here or paved here, you would have the whole area grassed over. That's a quick take from here. I'm now going to switch to another subject area, which is to do with the Greater Cambridge City deal. So thank you for listening.